All right, so looking at my resources here, as you guys can see, I have a bunch of artifacts that I need to upgrade, but it's expensive, right? It's really expensive. I mean, look how much it is up here. It's almost 1,000,000 gold, right? So like, that's not a good use of my resources. But the game sits here and gives you this exclamation mark and like screams at you that you have to do it, but you don't have to do it. I promise you. And you can see that I'm not doing it. I'm choosing not to. I did get everything up to level 15, and then honestly, I a little bit regret pushing them to 16. I probably should not have. 15 makes sense because it is where the upgrade is, right? So if we come here, you'll see unlocks at plus 15. Increase the number of lightning strikes to 8 when casting Lightning Storm, making the same enemy take damage up to 4 times each time. The original spell here, the fun, and if you guys don't have this one yet, by the way, this artifact is the new one from the reputation quests, which are awesome, by the way. I'm really, really excited that they've added reputation to the game. I think it makes a lot of sense in a game like Journey. It makes so much sense to have faction, right, in this world full of all these different factions. So now that we're grinding out the different quests every day from Kruger, this is one of the rewards once you've done, I think, 4 days of it. That's where it's from anyway, if you don't recognize it. But anyway, on this account, on my S1, you can see I've got, 2.4 mil here. That's it. Just 2,400. And I'm being very, very careful with where I spend it. I don't think you should spend anything over 15, but on all these artifacts, I would go to 15 on most of the artifacts. You could maybe wait on doing the dashing spell at all until we find a place that it's necessary, because again, same thing with the lightning or the thunderbolt spell. I love this artifact, by the way. Isn't this cool? Yeah, it's really cool. Although they're all kind of cool, huh? Anyhow, you could maybe even skip dashing spell and thunderbolt spell until these become meta, and then, boost it up when you absolutely have to. It's all about prioritization, but definitely don't be upgrading them beyond the 15 level if you are a low spender or free player and you're trying to pinch pennies. That's a great place where you can cut back on spending, is beyond 15, that is, and at all with those 2 new ones. Then we come to equipment. And, ooh, if it's been this long since my support's got an upgrade, let's give it to them, for sure. So I've been pinching pennies here in the gears, the other place to pinch pennies, and trying to only upgrade things that needed it, right? Because of the fact that we are upgrading our heroes so quickly right now. They really are upgrading very quickly. Basically every day, maybe every other day, if you're not an insane hardcore player like I am, like if you have a life outside of this mobile game, for example. Maybe some of you do. Hopefully all of you do. In which case you might be upgrading your resonance every couple of days, right? Maybe not every day, but even if it's every couple of days, the whole essence of this strategy of resource management could be summed up in simply whatever upgrades you can skip for now, go ahead and skip them for now. That's it in a nutshell. So I have been upgrading the marksmen because marksmen are, as we know, one of the top sources of damage in the game up to this point, although this season mages have taken a big step forward and rogues have as well, with just Iron and Shakir, but that's 2 big boys, right? Those are 2 big boys that have come to play, and Vala too, and to a lesser extent. But the primary damage doers now are marksmen and mages, which is funny because mages were, of course, like the least used heroes at launch. But now everybody is waking up to the power of Arden, which I couldn't be happier about. You guys know he's one of my favorite heroes, has been since the early days of AFK Arena for me. I love that old goat. I haven't had him built yet, so I had been skipping the mage upgrades for now. As always, with gear, you want to be upgrading what you're using. So just like in my equipment guide that I made at launch of the game, for now, warriors are a low priority. If you're a low spender or a free player, you're probably not in competition for the top crystal beetle spots anyway. So don't upgrade your warriors just because Corrin is the big carry right now for crystal beetle. Like, don't let that be a reason to do it, because the difference that you're going to get in damage out of him, while it might be noticeable, the difference in the rewards you're going to get are not. So if we're talking about a world in which you're strapped for cash and for forging stones, and we'll get to that in a second, that's honestly the biggest conundrum here and thing to have to consider is the forging stones. But like I said, we'll get to that in a second. But don't let that be a reason that you upgrade warriors. It's just not going to pay off. But you may have a Scarlita built. You know, maybe you built Scarlita instead of Raynor, so maybe that, if you do have Scarlita built, or you've got Scarlita and Florabelle built, right now we're talking about a team that might want to be using their warriors. I don't personally, but maybe you do. Mages, I have held off for the longest, it looks like, I think here. I had that one piece that was down to 260, I think, but we just did it. So now, oh no, here it is. I still haven't done it yet. It's a warrior piece. So now we come to the biggest question of all. When you are at this split point, right? And you can upgrade to this level of gear with one kind of stone, or you could upgrade even more with a different kind of stone. This is a bit of a pickle, right? You know, you want to use up maybe your stones, but you're not sure if you should. Here's my thoughts on this. And I've thought about this a lot for a couple days because I wanted to make sure that I advised everybody. Honestly, I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do. It's been a tough split for me as well. Now you got to keep in mind, even on my account where I've got basically limitless gold, this is an important resource to keep an eye on. Is these don't grow on trees. This is the final forging stones for the season. These are hard to come by, even at the tippy top. So, but look at all this HP. So, and what I would say, I'll go into this again when I get onto the global account, but I think that getting the big chunks of HP is a huge priority when it comes to which pieces of gear to upgrade. I think, look at this, Matt, look at this. So if I'm upgrading these, this chest, for example, it's going to gain 8,000 HP, right? It is going to gain 1,000 to physical, to magic defense, like, you know, 1,000 defense base, or 900, I guess, defense. Bunch of crit resist, that's great. Range defense, like, this is definitely a big upgrade that's probably worth doing. But I think that in the scheme of when you have to pick and choose, these are going to be big, but something like 30 million HP is going to be even bigger. That's just my advice, that, you know, take it, don't take it. So that's just by upgrading that piece and this piece here. We should check their HP first, but we can do it by math. So it was 27 on this one, and this one was also 27. And this one's going to 45 HP. Okay, so 45 mil, and these went to 66, or no, these went to 55. Okay, 45 and 55, right, from 27. So 27 to 45 is, oh god, 18 on the boots, and then 28 on, or no, 18 on the, what is this? Is it a helm? Yeah. It was 18 mil upgrade on the helm and 28 mil upgrade on the boots. So 46 mil HP on my warriors just now. Let's see what that is. Yeah, that's like about a sixth of his HP, right? And on Brutus, where it really will count, yeah, 46 mil HP. And plus, I mean, all the other things that you're getting out of it too, of course. Don't forget, they're getting a bunch of other stats as well. But I think that targeting those ones with the big HP boosts is a great way to just differentiate which, when you have to literally, you know, you can do 3 pieces and you need 12 different big armor pieces. Also, like I said earlier, warriors would be one of the last classes I would upgrade. But in this case, they're so far, at some point, they're going to be so far behind the rest of your classes that it is, you know, eventually it is going to be time to upgrade your warriors somewhat. So in this case, it seemed like the best use because they were so much farther behind at this point. They're like 40 levels back. Get in here. Oh, have you ever seen anything cuter? Oh my goodness. And I've got my like beast look, like Beauty and the Beast, except I'm the one carrying the torch here. So things have changed. Okay, word, Escape God. Hey Getty. That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. And good morning, Zoth. Good morning, Zothamus. So Escape God, we do keep each other thriving. Well said, buddy. Speaking of gates and windows, like 16 days, I think, of downtime before the next battle drill. Come on, it seems like a bit much. For us to come out like that was just so great. I'm really proud of our guys, and everybody worked really hard. As you can see, no one was like carrying. But yeah, let's swap over. Also, I'm in love with the fashion right now, by the way, if you can't tell. I really dig this new look that I put together. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of these, right? I've got I got 3,000 of these redstones here. Those are eventually going to turn into a bunch of these, which is going to be great. But for them to do that, that means that all of the gear has to be caught up to whatever the highest level is. So these go to 310. So everything will have to be 310 or higher before we can turn these into the top end stones. I think HP should be one of the primary determining factors for which pieces you're upgrading. It's going to be a big noticeable improvement to a hero quickly. Whereas the extra attack, the extra defense, that doesn't always come into play right away, straight, like drive it out the door kind of upgrade that a big chunk of HP is. So focusing on HP here, you can see the difference in these pieces, but what drives me nuts here is the cost, right? It's the same cost. When gold is our primary resource that we're stuck needing, it is crazy to me to have to spend that same amount of money to get a way less good piece of gear. That said, you will be low on these stones at first for a while. So what I think you should do is put things off as long as possible and try to upgrade only using the big boy stones, unless you find that you are losing in some way and need those upgrades. I would try to hold out, because eventually you're going to pull, you know, you get pieces of gear not just from doing this, you get them from other ways too. So, and this is just what I'm doing, right? This is just what I'm going to do on this account, but I do believe, and like I said, I've thought about it, so I do believe this is the best advice for everybody that's trying to pinch pennies at this kind of pivotal middle point here. I would try to hold out until you get everything to a point where maybe you're only 1 or 2 pieces away from that 310 thing, and then at that point, maybe you buy out the last 1 or 2, and then you'll be able to turn that massive chunk of these into these ones, of the red ones into the whatever you'd call that, like prismatic. Scarlet to prismatic. That is my game plan, is to just kind of try and hold out, and it's been going pretty well for me so far. I mean, you know, I'm still trucking, and the thing is, because if you buy the prismatic ones here at 330, literally tomorrow I'm going to be able to buy them at 340, right? So I don't want that to get old tomorrow. So as long as you can possibly hold out here, do it. But where you see the massive HP chunks, that's where you want to do your upgrades, especially ones that are really old, like 260. 260 is too old but this is going to be an upgrade of, if I bought the lower end one, the Scarlet upgrade here, the Scarlet upgrade would be 50 levels. The Prismatic one will be 70. Another thing that ties right into this is to come to your legend trials for those prismatic stones. This is where you find them. Oh, it's still showing me reds. Hold on. Where do they turn into the good ones? Yeah. So if we need those, come here and start clearing these floors. Basically every floor you'll be able to get a new piece of gear with the stones. Not with the money, but you'll have the stones for it. So if we do a couple floors here, we should be able to upgrade a couple more pieces of gear. So, and look, we got a good amount of money for this too. So the legend trials are where it's at. If you're trying to upgrade your gear, come here to the legend trials, man. Catch up on your legend trials. I guarantee you're not pushing them enough. I'm no life in this game and I don't even push them enough. So legend trials are a huge way to supplement that low income and your gear. And when you're upgrading, you're adding 20 million HP to your warriors here. Like, you're gonna notice the difference. Is the other thing. The upgrades are significant. They are. Which is another interesting thing they've done, is that every 10 levels of resonance is like a noticeable upgrade. And there's a good and bad things to that now, you know. The bad is part of what Vulcan was saying during our podcast, which is that once you're behind, you're kind of forever behind right now in the season. I can imagine how much that would suck. I can totally see how that would be the case for leaderboards and stuff, especially. Real quick like that. So let's go to my Brutus. Can't decide how I feel about the Brutus voice change. I think I might like him better now, but he might be the only one. Okay, so we've got 121, 116, and about 3,200 on the others. I'll just keep track of his main stats. I'm not gonna be able to keep track of all of it in my head. 121, 116, and 3,200 were the main stats. Oh wow, we're gonna gain 15 crit resist here, right? I mean, that is huge. So this way, when you're upgrading it, it's not going to waste. Like, this would be the exact, because we're so short on cash, right? It's really, really shit to think about spending that same money and getting such a different result for it, right? So I really think it's worth waiting when you are this poor, like I am, and like I imagine most global players are, especially S1 free-to-plays, but all of the global free-to-plays. Yada yada. Okay, so we upgraded, that one was 260, right? And we did that one. Now we're gonna do this one's 280. We'll do it up to 330. 16 to 39. Oh my gosh, right? 10 crit here. 10 crit and a bunch of HP, basically. Okay, so Brutus had 121 and 116 and 3,200. Wow.
Ready. Finish this.
So we didn't gain any attack. We did get 10 crit, but we gained from 121 HP to 167. So in just upgrading 2 pieces, we gained 46. Yeah, 46 million HP, which is almost half of what he had. Not quite, but as well as a 10% increase in defense, plus 15 crit resist, and a bunch of other stuff too. So being smart and only upgrading the pieces that really need it. So, and also if we look at our heroes here, like we'll probably be 340 by resets today. Frankly, resets today will probably be right. That's right when we'll hit it. Would be with whatever we get from the beetle the next time through, and was of this the fast rewards. That's it. And then you consider that the weekly reset is on Sunday, that's the best time to do a big upgrade of gear. That's like a great note to close on here when it comes to resource management, is the big weekly experience dump on Sunday at resets. That is probably the best time to do your upgrades, because it's going to be your biggest jump. What other pieces am I going to upgrade while we're here? My rogues, I use a bunch, right? I love to use Shakir, as you guys know, and Iron. So, definitely want to upgrade their lowest piece right now. And what's my support situation like? Supports are doing okay. They're all at least at 310, 320. Marksman's doing okay. They're at 310, 320. Mage is at 290 still. Okay. And again, we need to get everything to 310, at which point we'll be able to convert all of the forging stone 4s, the red forging stones, into the prismatic ones. Since we're going to be able to upgrade things to 350 at resets today, it makes sense to upgrade the further behind stuff right now if you are going to do some upgrades, because, you know, the mages and the warrior stuff obviously can get a little bit behind everything. So like, it makes more sense to do the cutting edge upgrades on your marksman gear or whatever. Like right when you hit that new resonance level, that's when you upgrade the things that you need to be the most powerful. And then later in the week is a good time to upgrade the ones that are a little bit lagging behind. It just makes sense. Yeah, come to daddy. Give me the crow book. We want the crow book. Hell yes, brother. The crow book. And of course, the writing on these is just so cool. The Secret Society of the Crow is the most clandestine organization of the Sunseekers, as hidden as a murder of crows in the dead of night. You guys know that a murder of crows is the name of a group of crows? Like a gaggle of geese. The Secret Society of the Crow recorded their profound knowledge in the Crow Book, which became their most taboo tome. Any mage who reads this arcane book will make progress unfathomable to others. The crow in the darkness has not returned. Concealed within the thick fog, it gives a shrill laugh. I bet that sounds even cooler in the native Chinese. It sounds cool as hell in English. Man, that's cool. All right. So those are my thoughts on resource management for free plays as promised today. I hope that you guys find that helpful.